15 luxury zip codes across California are unraveling. The insurance crisis is a $2 trillion coverage gap in motion. Major carriers like State Farm and Allstate refuse new policies, pushing over 463,000 homeowners onto the state's last resort FAIR plan. This exodus is driven by skyrocketing wildfire risk, plummeting property values, and insurance premiums that climbed 48% in 5 years. As the FAIR plan seeks a 36% rate hike, communities from Malibu to Napa Valley face a downward spiral. Which luxury enclaves are hit hardest? What's igniting a statewide exodus of private capital? The answers reveal more than a market correction. California's housing market stability has reversed. The private insurance market faces a $2 trillion coverage shortfall. This is the sharpest crisis since the 1994 Northridge earthquake, tracing directly to risk. Home insurance rates in California increased 48.4% between 2019 and 2024, the highest on the West Coast. In high-risk areas like the Santa Monica Mountains, annual premiums routinely top $15,000 for a typical luxury home. Major carriers like State Farm and Allstate are fleeing, citing unsustainable climate and wildfire risk. This forces homeowners onto the California FAIR plan, the state-managed insurer of last resort. The FAIR plan is now a primary property insurer, growing from 210,000 policies in 2020 to over 463,000 in 2024. This state-backed plan seeks a 35.8% rate hike, pushing costs beyond reach for thousands of homeowners. For many, the cost of fire insurance alone can now rival the property tax bill. For forces are unraveling California's luxury real estate market, rewriting rules for buyers, sellers, and investors. First, the insurance catastrophe. The private market retreat created a two-tiered system. Homes in high-risk zones require a costly combination of a FAIR plan policy for fire and a separate difference in conditions policy for everything else. This dual coverage can cost $10,000 to $25,000 annually, making carrying costs for a $1 million home financially crippling. Next, the affordability squeeze. Total cost of ownership, including mandatory dual insurance, has rocketed out of reach. Incomes in cities like Santa Rosa can't support monthly payments, forcing homeowners to make impossible choices. The third force is the investor exodus. Institutional capital is highly sensitive to risk modeling. As insurers pull back, lenders become wary, freezing the market for investment properties in high-risk areas. Properties bought for short-term rental conversion in fire-prone areas are being unloaded at significant losses. The loss of private insurance acts as a red flag for lenders, making homes in these areas unmortgageable, available only to cash buyers. Finally, the property value plunge. Properties in high-risk fire zones experience an immediate decline in value after a major wildfire. In Malibu, homes dropped by insurers saw market value plummet 10% to 20% overnight, as buyers factor in the new insurance burden. The glut of unsold homes in these exclusive areas directly results from the insurance crisis. Malibu and Napa Valley are now ground zero for a new housing shock, driven by the climate-driven retreat of private capital. In Malibu, homeowners dropped by State Farm saw properties instantly devalued. Longtime residents face non-renewal notices. The new reality means annual dual insurance bills of $12,000 to $20,000 for a typical luxury home. Empty lots where homes burned are still selling for millions, but rebuilding and insuring them is now astronomical. In Napa Valley, the crisis hits high-end wine country estates. Wildfire threat is compounded by difficulty obtaining insurance for remote, high-risk structures. Lenders demand proof of insurance for multi-million-dollar properties. Fire mitigation improvements in HOAs run into tens of thousands. The market has fractured. Low-risk urban units hold value, but others face a slow-motion reckoning. For thousands of owners, the true cost of living in California's exclusive areas is now coming into focus. The California insurance crisis is a warning to every high-risk, high-value market. The ripple effect is clear. Forces reshaping California's market are now playing out across the country, from Florida's coast to Texas's hail zones. Luxury home buyers in 2025 face a market demanding extreme caution. Buyers hold more leverage than in the past 5 years. Negotiate hard. Get a binding quote for both fire insurance and difference in conditions coverage before making an offer. Scrutinize carrying costs. Request a full breakdown of all ownership costs. The annual insurance bill can add $1,000 to $2,000 a month. Negotiate risk discount. Demand a 10% to 20% price reduction on properties relying on the FAIR plan, signaling permanent market risk. Check mitigation status. Verify defensible space and fire hardening status. Lenders and insurers increasingly require these expensive upgrades. In this market, due diligence is survival. The smartest move in 2025 is not just finding the right price. It is making sure the numbers work long after closing, even when the next wildfire season arrives. The California luxury real estate market shifted from a golden boom to a sharp contraction. Careful research and monitoring market changes are essential. The question isn't whether the market is correcting, but how deep the coverage gap will go in exclusive, high-risk communities.